Quiet Place Part 2. Now, Quiet Place Part 2 is written and directed by John Krasinski and stars Millicent Simmonds, Jupe, with Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy. And basically, the film is a continuation on from the first Quiet Place. And if you haven't seen that film, do go and check it out. It's a great film. But I'm warning you now, I will be getting some spoilers for the first Quiet Place. But anyway, like I said, the film is a continuation on from the first Quiet Place. As in this film, we once again follow the Abbott family who are trying to find someone else to live after the events of the first Quiet Place. And basically, long story short, they meet Cillian Murphy's character, who reluctantly agrees to help them and take care of them. And at the same time, Millicent Simmonds' character, who is a daughter in the Abbott family, starts to realise that there's actually more humans alive in this post-apocalyptic world, which is dominated by sound-hunting monsters. Long story short, she goes out on a quest to go and find these other humans. At the same time, Cillian Murphy's character goes along with her. And at the same time, a lot more complications occur for the whole Abbott family as they try and survive once again from these sound-hunting monsters. But at the same time, they find more people in this post-apocalyptic world. And that's basically the plot of A Quiet Place Part 2. And honestly, I was surprised by how much I really liked this film. Because actually, John Krasinski, I don't know how he did it, but he broke the horror movie curse. Most horror movies, when they have a sequel, or when they have like a continuation of the story, like whether it's a prequel or just a weird continuation of the story, that's not really a sequel, but at the same time, kind of is. When most horror movies do that, it doesn't normally turn out that good. But actually, A Quiet Place Part 2 is a really good film. I was surprised by how much I liked it. It exceeded my expectations, and I just thought it was a really good film. Honestly, it feels like a continuation of the first Quiet Place in the best way possible. It almost feels like the second chapter of a book. Like if A Quiet Place was ever a book, this almost feels like the second chapter. It feels like a direct continuation in the best way possible. At the same time though, I also used the sound design in the film. That was one thing I absolutely loved about the first film. The fact they had just normal sounds, like I don't know, a bird swishing away from a tree, which would be amplified into one big jump scare in the film. And that happens again in this film in the best way possible. I love the sound design for this film. At the same time though, there are so many intense sequences of the film which just work so well. Like honestly, I was watching this film in the cinema, and by the way, this is a film to watch in the cinema. I'm going to go on to that very shortly in this review, but this is the film to definitely watch in the cinema. But I was watching this film in the cinema, and there's a good couple of sequences in the film, probably more than the first one actually, where I was literally gripping the edge of my cinema seat because it was so intense, in the best way possible. It was literally what I wanted from a horror film. Like I must admit, I've talked about it before on this channel, I'm not the biggest fan of horror films, just because I don't really like getting scared, to be honest. But actually, the horror in this film works so well, and the intensity is once again there. There's a couple of sequences in this film which are actually more intense than quality sequences in the first one, which is something I didn't expect to say at all. At the same time though, going on to that whole thing of seeing it in the cinema, this is a movie to see in the cinema. Honestly, if you're thinking about watching a horror movie in the cinema right now, go and check out Quiet Place Part 2, because honestly, you will not be disappointed. The horror in this film is fantastic. It really is. Especially watching it in the cinema. It's such a film to watch in the cinema. Just the use of sound in the film is brilliant once again. And at the same time though, the musical score by Michael Baltrami is brilliant once again. And honestly, John Krasinski's direction is so much more confident in this film as well. Like, I thought the first one was really well directed, considering Krasinski had only directed like 2 episodes of The Office, and then went on to direct this family drama in 2016 called The Hollows, which I haven't seen, by the way. What I would like to see, because actually Krasinski is a really good director, so I wouldn't mind going to see that film. But considering that the first A Quiet Place was Krasinski's first go at directing a horror film, that was really well directed in my opinion. And this film is even better directed. Krasinski is so much more confident in his direction, and it comes off the screen in the best way possible. Honestly, there's quite a lot of shots where it just continues on with this one long take, kind of like Spielberg does in quite a lot of his films, so kind of like the same sort of filmmaking in something like 1917, where it feels like it's one continuous shot. There's a lot of that in the film in the best way possible, and honestly, I thought the film was so well made. Krasinski's direction is so much more confident in the film, and it comes off in the best way possible. At the same time though, I think the performances are yet again fantastic. I think Millicent Simmonds is brilliant in the lead role now. She basically plays the lead character. And I must admit, when I heard she was playing the lead role in this film, I was a bit iffy on that, because I'm not always the biggest fan of the young character leading the film, if you will, you know, carrying the film. But actually, she works really well. At the same time though, Jupe is great in the film. He's got a much bigger role. He plays a son in the Abbott family, and he's got a much bigger role in the film, and I really liked him in the film. At the same time though, Emily Blunt's brilliant once again. And Cillian Murphy is fantastic in the film. He's in the film far more than I thought he was going to be. And actually, he's brilliant in the film. I really enjoyed watching him. And at the same time though, the film, it just works so well. It's so well directed, it's got a brilliant use of sound design, and I really enjoyed it. My only criticism to this film, and it's not really criticism, because this criticism might go away if a third Quiet Place film is ever released. My only criticism to do with this film is it leaves a bit to be desired, I must admit. Like, I got to the end of the film, I was just like, oh, I want to see where that story goes, and not in the same way that I got to the end of the first Quiet Place. I'm like, I want to see where the story goes, but at the same time, no, it's a perfect place to end it. Like, if you've seen the first Quiet Place and you get to the end of that film, you're like, wow, that is a perfect place to end it. I didn't feel the same in the second film, and I almost feel that there's more to be desired. I feel like there's more of a story there. But the thing is, though, if the third Quiet Place film is made, then, you know, maybe this criticism will go away because the story will feel more complete. Like, it's almost like the Lord of the Rings film. Whenever I watch Lord of the Rings films, and I get to, you know, the second Lord of the Rings film, I get to, you know, Lord of the Rings The Two Towers, I almost feel like, okay, I want to see where the story goes, there's so much more to be desired there. But then when I watch Lord of the Rings Return of the King, obviously the story feels more complete, and I look back on The Two Towers and go, actually, that film works so well. Now, when I see the complete story, and I hope we get a Quiet Place 3, so I feel that complete story like I do when I watch Lord of the Rings films, or the Hobbit films for that matter, or even the original Star Wars trilogy, things like that. When I watch the third Hobbit film, or the third Lord of the Rings film, or, you know, the third Tower film, like Return of the Jedi, when I watch the third in those trilogies, the story feels complete, and I'm hoping I get the same with a Quiet Place 3. I'm hoping it gets made, because I'd love to see a continuation of the story, and it would actually make this film look better. But saying that, though, the film's still brilliant. Like, I'm not properly criticising the film. Like, I'm not saying if the third one was made, this would be so much better. No, if the third one was made and it answered more questions, and those things which I desire to be made in the third one actually happen in the third one, if you know what I mean there. Basically, if the third one was made, then yes, the second one would be better, but not loads better, just be a bit better. Be like, oh, that feels more complete now. So, that's my only criticism. There's more to be desired at the end of this film than there was at the end of the first film. But saying that, though, it's a really good horror sequel, which you don't see a lot with many films. Honestly, you don't, especially with horror films. Just, you get to a horror sequel, and normally it's really bad. Krasinski's more confident in his direction. He's directing these big action set pieces in the best way possible. I love the whole flashback sequence of the film, which you actually see, you know, John Krasinski in once again, and I thought that was all brilliant in the film. And I just think he directs these intense sequences just so well in the film. I love the direction of the film. I love how it constantly feels uncomfortable throughout the whole of the film. You never feel comfortable throughout the whole of the film, and I just think that works so well. I love the use of music in the film. I love the use of sound in the film. I just think it's brilliant once again. Yes, it leaves a bit to be desired, but in the end, isn't that what you kind of want from a sequel, actually? So, hopefully the third one made, hopefully the box office for the film is good, and hopefully we get a third Quiet Place, because honestly, I want to see where the story goes. And so, all in all, I really like A Quiet Place Part 2. It's far better than I thought it was going to be. It's a proper horror sequel. It feels like a proper continuation of the first Quiet Place in the best way possible. I love the performances. Cillian Murphy is brilliant in the film. It's got so many intense sequences in the best way possible. It's a proper horror film, and you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that Quiet Place Part 2, I'm going to say that it's an 8.5 out of 10. Honestly, I was surprised by how much I really liked this film. I got to the end of the film and just thought, wow, even so, yes, it did leave a bit to be desired. Hopefully we get A Quiet Place Part 3, and hopefully I look back on this film after watching A Quiet Place Part 3 and go, actually, no, the story feels more complete now, and actually I like A Quiet Place Part 2 because A Quiet Place Part 3, you know, it stuck the landing. It did the thing I wanted it to do, and hopefully, you know, answers those unanswered questions and goes into those parts of the film that I want to see explored more. Not to give too much away, because I'm trying to keep this really spoiler-free as possible, but there's more. This film opened more doors that I want to go through, and it didn't go through those doors in this film alone, but hopefully it does in A Quiet Place Part 3, and hopefully we feel the end of this story. I mean, A Quiet Place Part 3 hasn't even been confirmed yet, but hopefully we do get it, and hopefully when I look back on the film after watching A Quiet Place Part 3, hopefully the story, hopefully the Quiet Place story feels complete with the whole Abbott family. But saying that though, A Quiet Place Part 2 still works by itself in so many ways. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. I think it's brilliant filmmaking. I think Krasinski's direction is so much more confident in the film than it was in the first one. I love the use of sound design in the film. I love the music of the film. I love Mark Beltrami's score, which works so well in the film. And I say something, I think all the performances are great. I think it's a really fantastic film. It's got some really intense sequences in the best way possible. It's a proper horror movie. Go and check it out in the cinema. It's so good. Honestly, if you want to watch a horror movie in the cinema, go and check out this one. Honestly, it's brilliant. It deserves to be seen in the cinema, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a brilliant film, and it's a brilliant horror sequel, which is something I didn't expect to say about this film at all. And so, all in all, I'm so happy I like it, because I really like the first one. I did have a bit of hesitance with this one, but actually, it delivers on so much more than I thought it was going to. It's a proper horror sequel. It's a proper good follow-up from the first Quiet Place, and honestly, there's actually quite a lot of parts of this film that I actually prefer over the first film, which is something I didn't expect to say about this film at all. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that A Quiet Place Part 2 is an 8.5 out of 10 from me. Anyway, Anyway guys, what do you think of A Quiet Place Part 2? Please do comment down below and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like, subscribe on this video, and look forward to many more both film and TV reviews coming very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon, but bye for now, bye!